And we...
And that's why you need to make sure that she's over 18 years old.
Yeah, because of that yawning effect right there.
Yikes. Yikes.
I swear you guys will get me demonetized for no valid reason.
Worse, probably arrested.
Oh yeah, as if they could just find me through a random unlisted video.
FBI, open up! I mean, YouTube's scummy. They could easily just rat you out.
I think you might be
The worst thing that's gonna
overthinking.
happen is just people just reporting it and the video just going out.
Yeah, that's probably the worst thing that could happen, but it's unlisted. It's pretty hard to get to.
True.
Like, you need access to the playlist. Or the individual videos, I guess. Anyways, good evening, everybody. It has been a little while since we had session, unfortunately, because real life is a tank.
Your life is indeed a
But
thing.
for the bulk of us, things are looking on the up and up. We should have
Yee.
next session a full crew if everything goes according to plan.
Woo!
Oh, that'd be cool.
So, short session today to get to the meaty part next session, essentially. I guess you guys want to recap.
Yes.
That would be lovely.
That would be lovely. Last session, which, if memory serves correctly, was 3 weeks ago in real life.
Oh, jeez.
Good thing I watched the VOD today. Not a ton happened, but you guys essentially took a shot and decided to have a long and necessary conversation with the Black Staff concerning your new, air quotes, boss. The apparently leader of the Zentarum, or like just the criminal branch of the Zentarum within Waterdeep. The one and only Manchun. After what was an extremely prolonged conversation and a lot of negotiations and some persuasion, you guys are to reconvene the next day at the Blackstaff Tower, where she will have more information and procedures for you after having deliberated things on her side. You guys then fussed about and did your own things during the evening, went to sleep, got back up in the morning right after, and then was parade duty because Ragnar is still carrying a certain debt from his actions a couple of chapters ago.
Which was like last year.
Hey, actions have consequences.
Oh, I'm well aware. You guys should know.
After that, you guys went to watch the parade, essentially keeping surveillance on it. Turnover was a little lower as the cold weather and harsh winds are starting to settle into the area, but also a couple of you noticed something peculiar where there was none of the sailors who were keeping tabs on you and the rest of the parade were there. You decided to bring that up to Zord directly, or at least some of his higher-up crew at the docks, which was apparently not intended. You guys raised a bit of a brawl with some of the sailors that were supposed to be there with you. Literally beat the snot out of a few of them. Broke only one table at the tavern where you broke everything in. Which was a better outcome than I expected after improvising that shit.
Good job.
Good job, you guys. Got out of the tavern, brought them back, and after that had a meeting with Zord. Started having a bit of a conversation about how to change your debt payment. Unfortunately, none of the options Ragnar brought were of Zord's taste, and none of the options of Zord's taste... Well, none of the options that Zord brought was to Ragnar's taste. And that's where we left off last week, mid-conversation, and we pick off this week. And something I've had the chance to put in during some of my free prep time was interesting character, or not necessarily character team, but moment teams. It's a little louder than I want it. Alright, picking up back with the Zord conversation, giving him a little bit more of a jazzy team. Where was that conversation again? If I remember correctly, Max was actually trying to talk to him about, like, conversing about essentially performing for him.
One sec, I'm just looking at something.
I thought he already did perform for him.
He gave a performance role with the mandolin, and that's where we kind of stopped the conversation. Ragnar's exact words was, if I remember correctly, and now we do the roundabout song.
Oh,
Social
yes.
reference. Which
God damn it.
Zord did applaud you.
Fucking A.
What's up?
Just got an email from the daycare where my daughter's going.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, in her group, there's a case of intestinal worms.
Oh,
You.
Oh,
that's a problem.
So
Ew.
I'm gonna have to look her out. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Sorry. So if I remember, yeah, I was playing for.
You
him.
played for Zord, trying to give him your best, essentially Spanish suave performance, giving a bit of a.
Suavemente.
Bésame, déjame cuidar del culo.
Actually rolled pretty well, and he gave you a bit of a clap. I was impressed, and that's kind of where we
Yeah.
left off last session. Bravo, bravo. That was marvelous. You know, maybe I'll invite you to one of those dinners I have every now and then.
It'll be my pleasure.
Excellent. Make sure you bring your A game. And he gives you a bit of a wink.
I always bring the A game, and I'm like making a little pose, like showing my ass.
Gives you actually that little bit of a giggle. My, aren't you the interesting charmer too?
I give it a wink.
Right. Was there any other
Do you-
particular business you had with me?
No, that was it for today, I'm afraid.
Okay, very well then. I have some shopping to do of my own, so I will bow down. Makes it to spiel. Of course. I will take my leave then, if you don't mind.
As you wish, Captain.
No, at ease, Blue Cheeks. I knew it was your name. It's on your pants now.
Wait, what?
I was wondering when that was gonna.
Zord just points to the freshly applied mark that Max put with his instrument of scribing.
And Ragnar kind of goes like in a small circle after struggling, trying to see.
It's a little difficult to see because of the exact spot on your back calf that Max put it, but you can see the forming of the first few letters, which you're pretty darn sure wasn't there last time you changed your pants.
Well, this state's going to turn red soon, I can assure you that.
Oh, please. He only jests, I can assure you.
I can make it any color you want, and I strum my mandolin just.
How about you get rid of it?
make it red?
You know, that's an interesting color association there. Blue cheeks, but it's written in red? You could trick
Yeah,
people
no.
with that kind of quizzing.
It messes with people's heads.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, farewell, gentlemen. He gives you a bit of a nonchalant wave with his hand and starts heading in his own direction.
All right. I guess it's time that we start making our way out.
Yeah. So if
Sounds
I
good to
if I
me.
remember, we still need to get him some extra money.
Yep, still have some payment due, I'm afraid.
When was the next one?
And I'm wondering when we'll be paid.
Nah, just leave that to me at this point.
Okay, what next group?
Oh, excuse me.
You have late in the afternoon your meeting with the Black Staff, but otherwise you are free for a couple of hours at least.
Do you want to try and investigate to see if it's still there?
See if what's still there.
Skip what?
The bar at all.
Oh, right. Checking out the friggin' whatchamadoodle, the Yellow Spire, was it?
Yep, I think if I remember, yeah.
Okay, so the group wants to start heading towards Yellow Spire.
Yeah, just try to do a quick surveil of the area.
Okay, well, essentially climbing all the way back north through the dock wards and back into the castle ward, you reach back in where Yellow Spire was, right here. The tower looks the same as far as you can see from the outside street.
I would like to head into an alley and by memory disguise myself as one of the priests that was there before.
Okay,
I
how do
remember.
you how do you plan on disguising yourself again? I'm pretty sure you have a spell for that, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh
What the
no,
fuck?
What did you do to your spells? You keep doing something to your spells.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure.
he keeps
fucking-
breaking things.
Yeah, you keep breaking things, and I don't know what you're doing.
There we go. What the fuck is the name not showing up?
Something in your setting is not done. You do have disguise self. That's what I was
Yeah, it's
thinking.
there.
about.
It's
Okay.
marked. It's written, and the freaking it's includes spell description. It's not on partial. It's on full. Why?
You know, I'll take a look at your character sheet at some point between sessions just to make sure nothing is broken.
Well, since it changed to the new one, this is what happened.
I don't
Why?
have that problem with Monteo. Yet somehow you have a similar problem on both campaigns. I don't know. I legit don't know, so I'm not going to pronounce anything yet, but I'll take a full look at your character sheet another time. So you look into an alley, wait for nobody to be within sight of you, and use disguise self. Try to make yourself look like one of the cultists.
Yep.
Okay. The rest of the group is doing anything?
So, would you like me to join you on this operation?
Well, if you want, baby.
Don't call me baby.
Baby,
Oh, yeah.
baby, baby. Ooh.
And I immediately grab him by his tongue. Keep that up, and I'm going to rip and tear.
And you see me wiggle my tongue just to like touch his fingers.
I'm going to start pulling with my nails digging into it.
Ooh.
Buddy.
Oh my god.
There's a little bit of pain going on right now, but I have a feeling that Max is into it.
You wanted me to pull your tail?
If you do that, you're on your own.
Jesus.
It's a kink in some fantasy games.
Ugh.
Okay.
Just disguise yourself instead of pulling my tongue.
I like it when I start wiping my hand on his shirt and give him a gentle slap. Psh.
Stop teasing. I look at Gigs and I'm like,
Scalpel also perks up and mentions, I don't have the disguise function as part of my curriculum of spells.
Oh, that's fine. You just wait out here and keep an eye on things.
Aye, aye, sir. Sorry, I don't have the robotic voice filter.
It's fine. You're making a spirited attempt, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I try, thank you.
Gigs?
Yes. That is
What?
I am Gix. Gix,
What
I
are you
am.
gonna do?
I'm gonna follow you guys. Where else am I gonna go? Eat? No. Sleep? Eh.
Turning yourself invisible, maybe?
What, right now?
Well, we're going in.
Are we already there?
Happy.
Well, we're in the
Yeah.
alley close by.
You guys are in one of the alleys close by. Let's pick this one. Doesn't matter which one.
My apologies. I will burn one of my 2 spell slots.
And you will cast disguise self also?
Nope, I will cast invisibility.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he
Also
has this
appropriate.
guy self?
I don't
do not
remember if
have-
he has it.
I don't have it, as far as I
Okay.
can tell.
Okay. So with with Gix invisible and 2 other party members disguised and Scalpel trying to be as innocuous as he can standing aside, the 3 of you start heading in the direction of Yellow Spire.
Can I try to remember which deity they were?
I'll just give it
Generating-
to you. I don't want to make you roll for that. That was
Yeah.
the deity of Bane, which was the
Bane, that's right.
the evil god that is associated with pain pain, torture, and all of that kind of nasty stuff.
And murder.
I don't remember if murder's on the list. I could just look it
Oh,
up quickly.
no, murder is bail. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Pain.
yes. And no, not the sexual kind of pleasure. We're talking the torture
Yeah, I
kind
know.
of pain.
Real pain, just
Real
pain.
pain.
Yeah, it is on.
With the actual intent of hurting people and suffering.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Yep. But the three of you, two of you being visible, start approaching wearing your cultist robes and mask, replicating to the best that you can of your memory. Sorry, I was taking a sip of my hot chocolate right there. So you make your
Jelly.
way around Yellow Spire, going to the back of it near the mountain where you remember it being. And you're in front of the door now. What do you do?
I just try to open it.
Try to open it and it does not seem to budge.
I knock,
You knock.
and I just do like one step behind, so we're both next to each other.
And a couple of seconds pass. A moment pass. Nobody seems to be opening.
I guess we try busting in.
Seems
You're the one
right
with the
to
tools.
do.
Yep. Rolls out the good old pouch with the thieves' tools, and he's going to try to pick the lock.
You try to pick the lock. Give me a Thief's Tool check, please.
First roll of the week.
Hey.
First roll of
Ooh,
the
nice.
week.
21.
You do what looks to you as a superb lock-picking attempt, where you actually properly manage to like jiggle all of the tumblers correctly into that cheap lock, and go to try to unlock it, where you notice it's not even locked to begin with.
Huh? What the hell? It's not even locked. Are you sure you're not opening it right?
I showing a like sign of my hand, like fuck you, do it.
Max, are you struggling?
Try to open it.
All right. Ragna's going to try to open it then.
Okay, you try to open the door, and the handle does turn correctly as if it's not locked, but when you try to open the door, it does not budge.
What the hell?
Does it
Or
allow... All right, move aside, weaklings.
move
I'm
aside.
going to attempt. Oh my god, I'm probably the one with the weakest strength.
Good job.
No, I'm telling you, you don't have the weakest strength.
I'd be very surprised if I wasn't.
I got 5.
Oh, dude.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, are you kidding?
No.
Wow.
No. You're kidding me? You got 5 too?
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. I have more strength than the two of you combined. What the crap?
I mean, when you think about it, one's a scrawny boy toy, and the other one is literally a reanimated corpse.
I would like to use my crowbar in order to help try and open the door, trying it.
Good call.
assuming that there's something behind it.
It will break your invisibility, however.
Ooh. I'm going to hand the crowbar over to Ragna.
As Ragna pulls out his two.
Double
I
crowbar
think-
this shit.
I take the invisible crowbar. I try to help.
Okay, so Ragna. I don't remember the exact rules of a crowbar, so I'm just
I
going to
believe-
ask you. Well, yeah.
I
Wait,
believe for the
wait,
first
wait,
part,
wait,
it's
wait,
the
wait,
strength
wait.
check with advantage.
Hold on. Before we even go through with this, I'm going to use Eldritch Sight to use Detect Magic to see if it's magically locked or something.
Okay, so
What the
you use
shenanigans?
Eldritch Sight, which
Yes.
maybe you should have done early. No, actually, because Eldritch Sight is concentration as much as invisibility, that would break your invisibility.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that would?
Yep.
You can cast Detect Magic at will. Oh, yeah, it's true. All
But
right,
it's still
no,
casting
I'll let
Detect
these
Magic.
dudes- Yeah, I'm still casting it. You're right.
You're
Alright, I said
casting Eldritch Sight?
Nope.
No, okay.
I'll let the crowbar geeks to go forward.
So,
Well, just know that if this fails, we're climbing.
Yeah.
okay, so Ragna,
Mm-hmm.
because you have a lot of help between the two crowbars and, well, Max, give me a strength with advantage, and I'm gonna also add a little flat modifier on top of it.
Advantage, strength, and oof.
Well, so essentially I was gonna put a +4, so 16. So you do your absolute best to lunge the crowbar and put as much of your weight as you can into the, like, segment of the door that you're, like, prying open, with Max assisting from a lower part of it, and the two of you heave as hard as you can, and you can hear actual wood cracking. And at some point, it just breaks open, and the door's no longer barring your way. First thing you notice is that there was indeed a physical wooden door actually barring the way of this place from the inside. And the entrance lobby is still an absolute mess. However, you do not see any sign of life.
Is there a layer of dust on the floor?
No.
Well, it's only been, what, 48 hours? 72 hours?
At most 72 hours. I would need to, like, double check in my notes if you don't mind.
Okay, so probably not enough for dust to build up.
Definitely not. We're the 29th today?
Probably enough time to see the blood, like, coagulate.
Yeah, so
Coagulated
today we're the
blood,
29th of Elent. You guys visited the place on the 26th.
Jeez.
3 days ago.
And that feels forever ago.
I know. Listen, this campaign's pacing is quick and tight, but at the same time it feels really slow.
Okay,
Mhm.
first thing I do is I go in and I go on the second floor where I remember the priest being there.
You mean climbing up?
Well, going in and going to the second floor.
Okay, so you go traverse the lobby, get to the other door that leads into the main section of the tower. This one is not
Yeah.
locked and does not bar your way. And as you enter into the actual main tower component, you notice that a lot of the shelves that had, like, weapons, masks, and amulets of, like, Bane itself, all emptied. The beds have also been taken off.
Ah, shit. They've
Yeah,
left, didn't they?
they left.
Quick, the basement.
Before the basement, I want to go up to see if there's anything left.
Okay, so you do climb up the spiral staircase, and the place is left with one piece of wood furnishing. The altar has been picked up. You don't see any of it, and doesn't seem to be anything left either on the top floor.
Ah, shit. Go downstairs, regroup.
You regroup with the others, and you guys are going down the basement.
Yep.
Okay, go down the basement, and pretty much the same scene. There's one piece of furnishing left where the cage of the flying black snakes were, but no longer any cage, no longer any flying snake. There's still the steel, like, portcullis-style door. It is open, and as the group peers inside, you can see that the transportation circle that was there was mostly erased. There's almost nothing left of it.
Okay, but there's still, like, a trace of it to show, hey, there was something here.
There was something there, but give me an Arcana check.
Okay. 5.
It's
Can I
very
invoke that
erased. You
Arcana?
don't know how much of that could be used as, like, evidence of anything.
Ah, crap.
There's very little of it at this point. Like, it's obvious something was there, but could you demonstrate what was there with what's left? You're not quite sure.
Yeah, this is a dead end. They already fled.
Yep.
Yikes.
Alright, let's get the hell out before anyone sees us here.
Right.
Okay. So, group starts heading back upstairs.
So,
Walks. Yeah, go for it.
yeah, well, just saying that while getting out of the building, I'm just, like, closing the door.
No one saw anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So, exiting the Yellow Spire and going back onto the streets, you regroup with Scalpel, who is basically standing watch. Nothing to report, sir. It is you, sir, right?
Yeah, it's me.
Perfect.
Yeah, it seems like that they already fled the premises. Everything's gone.
Have they left a note?
No.
They haven't
No.
mentioned where they are now?
Why would they? That kind of defeats the point of leaving.
How are we supposed to retrieve them as members of their cult?
We're not
I
here
look-
because of the cult. We're here because of the Zentarum. As Ragnar just kind of face palms.
And I look at Ragnar and I'm like, even then, whatever we wanted to do is not going to be working anymore.
Yeah.
So, are we going to meet up or no?
Well, first I want to hear what you all think about the matter.
In what respect? The fact that they're gone?
Well, we do have to. We were supposed to go meet with Blackstaff, but now that we have no evidence of the situation here, our one link that would tie them to Colette Tower is just gone.
Was that the only one? I could swear we had another.
Where at?
A warehouse where we found a dwarf that was getting interrogated. Was there not one there as well?
Right, there was one there.
That's right. Okay, let me see if I remember correctly where it was. It was this one here off of the Reach, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm glad at least one of you remembered. I'm super happy.
Thank goodness.
That there was a second one, or that where it was?
Both? I should have answered yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the group instead wants to go back to the interrogation house.
Yeah, let's go check that out real quick.
Okay, so sneaking around the bigger streets and alleys, you go back into the dockward. I'm surprised you guys didn't start with this one, but if you didn't remember, then you didn't remember, that's fine.
I'm sorry, but let's face it, the Yellow Spire was a lot more memorable.
Oh, really? You guys almost died in the interrogation house. Is that why
Huh.
you're not remembering it?
Huh, must have suppressed that.
That's what I was figuring. Okay. I'm actually curious what was more memorable, but that's a question for, like, not campaign time. Okay, so going back to the interrogation house, not to drag things too much long, but you essentially are greeted with a similar situation where the doors doesn't open. This time it is locked. Doesn't take too much effort from you guys to lockpick it, and this place has been cleaned up. You no longer see any corpses from that you left there. There's no traces of fighting either. Most of the supplies that were there were also lifted. And after looking for the secret entrance that led to the transportation circle, you do find it. And this transportation circle was also erased.
Damn it.
Arcana
because-
check to see if it's still usable. Yes, no, maybe.
I don't understand by your question, since the transportation circle is no longer there.
As you know, we did the same thing. Is it completely erased, or is it like the other one where there's traces?
There's little tidbits of traces too. Like, it looks like whoever erased both of them didn't bother to make it a perfect job, but they definitely erased the bulk of it. You would estimate like 85% of it is gone.
Okay, so
Also,
I guess
you kind of recognize it for the fact that you knew what was there before, but there's so little of it now that somebody just stumbling upon it, you don't think they would be able to figure out what it was exactly.
Mhm.
Shit. I don't know. If Blackstaff were to send her investigators here in Yellow Spire, do you think that'd be enough to convince them?
Maybe. It's a very big maybe.
We'll have to tell her to send people who are able to, like, properly investigate magical runes or stuff like that. And not just send like a fucking jarhead who's gonna be like stomping on everything.
Yeah, the last thing we want is some flatfoot just flattening everything. What?
I hear him. He's cute.
Oh my goodness, Loki. Why are you fat?
Why is this a question?
Because I tried putting him on a diet, but he only got fatter as a result.
Oh, Lottie coming.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time. Yeah, he's 15 pounds. Yeah, you heard me.
Back to session, please. Even though I do love Cass. Okay, so anything else the group had as a plan?
Well, if we do want to follow through with the meeting with the black stuff, we will have to go get the stone.
Quick question: how were we to contact them again if we found evidence?
They were going to contact us.
Yeah, but when would they know to contact us?
Wait, who are we talking about? I guess I should actually clarify that. I thought you were talking about the our new bosses, so to speak, quote
Yeah,
unquote.
the new bosses, the one that were in the other plane.
I assumed that they would find some way to contact us. We were not to worry about that.
Hey, if that drow was
Which
able to
makes me
find
worry.
us, that's more than likely going to happen as well.
Alternatively, I'll remind you that they did give you one flying black snake
Yes.
with the intent of having a line of communication at least one way.
Mm-hmm.
Just a DM reminder to you guys.
Well, at this point, the best thing I can come up with is use the snake, say, hey, where's our next job? They tell us, and then we send Blackstaff over there instead. But I very much doubt that is going to work.
Well, I doubt we can actually just tell them, hey, what's our next job? They're probably going to ask us for proof. So the first communication I believe they will be expecting from us is, let's meet up to give you the proof. Because the first thing is finding devil worshipping from castle hunters. Because they have a temple underneath their residence.
Are rumored to have a temple.
Well, that's what the guy told us, the Golden Hand.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't exactly have the time for that. Blackstaff wants an answer today.
That's why I believe the best thing we could do is tell Blackstaff, look, they asked us to do a job. Let us do, in between quotes, that job. And when we're supposed to meet, they're the ones who gotta be there. In other words, undercover job.
So basically, we just tell her straight up, hey, we just need a little more time.
Yep. And instead of giving her simple, clues or anything, we can actually bring someone to her directly. Even if it's just the killer,
Floxen.
It's already better than just some, half erased in transportation circles and, abandoned warehouses.
Well, here's another thing to potentially consider. Since we already have two major targets on our back from the Centaurum as well as the Drow, would it be safer to take the stone to Blackstaff instead of just leaving it where it is?
The only issue with that is that we'll never get any kind of compensation at all.
At this point, Max, we'll be lucky to make it out with our lives, let alone with some sort of payment.
Look, if I want to get out of here with my life, I can just walk away from here and just leave you guys.
Well, you are more than welcome to.
Right, the reason why I'm here is because I was promised some kind of compensation for anything I was doing for you guys.
Well, I'm afraid that's a promise I can no longer keep. So it's up to you if you're still in it or if you want to go. If you do leave, I don't blame you.
Let's not get too hasty now. I'm sure that even if we do give the stone to Blackstaff, doing the city some good
The
usually
city only
has
thinks
a
about the
reward.
city.
A what?
The city only thinks about the city itself, never about the fucking people. They only think about the higher ups and the nobles.
They don't think that'll make us nobles?
They'll never make us anything like that.
And you know that how?
Life experience. I'm sure you've already felt it too, lived it, being here in the city. Why do you think you had to go to thieving to get your life?
No, the reason why I went into thieving had absolutely nothing to do with the city itself. Just a couple of douche canoes that didn't understand what it meant to raise a child. So, do you suggest that we just skip out on black stuff then?
Like I said, if you really want to have like some help with our new boss, I would say tell her to give us more time. If she's unhappy, then F her.
I already did ask for more time. You were there.
I know. And unfortunately, we're the ones bringing her information. If she's unhappy, then she can just go on her merry way and keep on doing whatever her guards can do to get her information. And we're just gonna be there with our new employers. That's it.
Somehow I don't think our new employers will be more generous than the city.
Yeah, I genuinely think we are kind of deadlocked right here.
So in a case of deadlock, how about, since of course I'm sure we can all agree that we're in it for us, right? Both for cash and for our own lives. Presented a situation where we don't have a choice or much of a choice, and every single choice seems bad. Why not shuffle the deck? Why not sow a little chaos, so to speak?
What do you mean?
Play all sides. Get them to fight each other. See if we can come out at the end. We're a small group. We're good at getting in.
Well, that's the problem. That's exactly what we tried doing from the very get-go. And unfortunately, the cards didn't actually play out in our favor. Granted, when I first got here in the city, me and the fellow adventurers I was initially with, we just kind of fell into this without really knowing what we were getting into. We thought we were being clever with our actions, and that only bit us in the ass.
But I like Gix's idea. We can just shuffle a new hand and see the new cards.
So if we do want to play all the angles as we put it, that means we still need to have Blackstaff on our side. And I don't see how we can do that without compromising on our end.
And by giving her the stone, you mean?
Precisely.
Who would you be more confident in lifting the stone off of, Blackstaff or the other?
Well, there's only one stone, so we're not going to give it to anyone. If the only one that we're considering giving it to is Blackstaff herself, we are never giving it to the Castellanters. They were going to give us the eye so we can go finish our final objective.
The only thing I'm mostly scared about is that the Blackstaff will only take the stone and tell us to fuck off. If
No,
that happens, we're fucked in every sides.
I've already made it very clear to her that we're here to see this through the end to the end.
There's
We're not-
nothing that's gonna force her to it.
Except
Well-
maybe not giving the stone.
Or Max can just eat it, keep him as collateral.
I also assume that you guys are like walking and talking in at least one direction at this point. Probably the manor.
I
Yeah.
would assume walking in the manor, yeah. Direction of the manor. All right, so we meet with Blackstaff. We have to meet with Blackstaff.
hmm
We were hoping to get something extra to show her.
Well, that's what I was hoping by going and look again at the.
I
The
mean, either
spots.
way, regardless of if we have something extra, she hasn't quite made her decision yet, correct? What did she ask us to bring?
The stone itself.
As a refresher also, she did say she was going to have conversations with other people that are higher up in the city. So she herself did not seem sure what the exact outcome would be of the next meeting.
Could you remind me this fool Neverember?
What about him?
He wanted it for the city or for himself?
Which Neverember are you referring to?
The young one, the one who employed you guys.
The fool one. The other one's not so much of a fool. He's been a genius. He's managed to be a thorn in all of our sides.
Well, I wouldn't say a thorn. I'd say more of incidental inconvenience at times. But he seems to have noble intentions. Unlike his greedy ass old man, he wanted to return the money to the city as well. If anything, he wanted to wash his hands of his father's legacy.
So the way I see it, either we're looking to get money, which could be very easily by, taking the reward for ourselves. The amount that's in there, I'm sure we'll have us live like kings. But how would we be able to transport it? How would we be able to do a whole lot of things with it? Having access to it, just simply? Having to carry this key on us the entire time? I'd
No.
be more inclined to use this to get favor, to get direct cash that we don't have to spend our entire time trying to protect when others are after it. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
Nope, you actually kind of lost me with that one. Yeah, at this point, I think we just need to speak plainly out of character. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking in circles.
Feel free to. Spending in-game timer for hours. Other things between you guys. Because that's important.
Yes, of course.
And obviously, you guys' assumptions are also important.
The way I see it, I don't know about your characters. My character is looking obviously to do quite a couple of things, but one of them is to have a comfortable life afterwards. And a comfortable life just means a certain amount of money, not necessarily all of the money that's in there.
Yeah, but there's more to living comfortably than just money. You need connection as well. And I feel
Exactly.
like aligning with Blackstaff would very likely lead to that, especially if it leads to the capture of Manchun and such.
That's also what I agree with.
Because that's what you say, a fool and his money is easily parted. But as long as you have proper connections that know what to do with it, such as like investment banking and so on, blah blah blah, capitalism, this, uh, money is easy to attain. Reputation and connections, that's another thing entirely. You cannot put a price tag on that.
Yeah.
But that being said, in order to get that, it requires a lot of risk on our part, particularly potentially giving up our only leverage in the form of the stone here.
It's time to negotiate hard if you don't want to just lose leverage.
Yeah, but again, here's the thing. I'm trying to play a charismatic character when I myself am not all that charismatic. So I don't know how to do that properly without screwing things up.
Then shut up and let the central Max do it for you.
Okay, Max, you do it.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. You guys will probably have to all input some stuff into any conversation you have if you want to, like, not lose leverage. Not to say too much.
Just out of curiosity, what's the dimensions of the stone again?
It fits into your palm. It's close to, like, the size of a fist. Although it's not exactly that shape.
So basically, Max would be able to shove it up his ass.
I mean, if you tried hard enough? I think I have an image of it also if you guys are interested in seeing it again.
Yeah, I remember you sent it last time. It looks like an aboleth.
That was, I believe, an observation from T, where he said something like, it looks like an aboleth, it reminds him of an aboleth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've already seen an aboleth.
Could you remind me what the fucking aboleth is?
It's a creature,
It's like
nothing
a-
that we would know in character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Something, ancient entities from the elemental plane of water that has memory from beyond history and whatnot. Tried to enslave some races, that didn't work out, and yeah.
Did you say knowledge from beyond history?
Yep, and something about every mind that they control, they absorb the memories of, and yeah, they don't really die. They just kind of have their physical forms destroyed, and then they just like reform later in the plane of water.
So that is an aboleth. I sent an image in our Discord.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
That's why it has
Yeah, I'd
3
rather
eyes.
not fuck with that.
And that is the Stone of Galore as you guys have seen it.
Okay, can you remember, in other words, what we...
Okay,
What
yeah,
we're
I see
bringing for
exactly what the
Blackstaff.
fuck you mean. Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, why are we doing this? I mean, out of character now, I'm so terrified. Like, fuck this thing.
Oh, wow.
Because we don't know if the actual creature is involved. We just think, oh, that's odd. It kind of looks like that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the current situation, I suppose. So now the big question is, what do we do?
Out of character wise, I'm down to ally with Blackstaff. I don't know about Shima. Shima, you've been oddly quiet this entire, like, out of character, let's discuss time. The time we're supposed to be talking.
Feel free
Because
to
I'm
express
trying-
your opinion.
Because I'm trying to see what we could do to try and wiggle our way in a bit of everything.
I don't know, at this point I'm kind of giving up on that notion because every single attempt we've done for that has either gone poorly or just straight up backfired.
I disagree.
Because right now, Manchuns is hoping for us to find devil worshipping temple, which will be in a day or two
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. The Black Staff right now is hoping for us to, right now for later, to bring the stone, and in other words, let's say they keep us in the loop, but in other words, helping them find probably the other eyes, and eventually completing the stone. And if we ever find the vault, well, the money is going to go back to everyone, and we're just crossing fingers to hope that they're going to compensate us. Manchun, right now the only thing we know is that it's, or we show him that we are trying to be employed by him and find the devil worshipping temple and prove it in a way and reaching him. And the castle lanterns are, in other words, wanting us to find the other stones, but they have one. And if we ever find any devil worshipping and get out of it and give it out, they're probably gonna get kicked out of the city. So we're like crossing them off of the map if that happens.
So basically, right now, we're between a rock and a hard place that's currently situated over a spike pit.
You know,
So-
I kind of like that you guys are in that place. It means I'm doing my job well.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
Well, I
and
could say
there's
the same for
the
Ghost of Salt Marsh
fucking-
right now.
I keep forgetting the drows.
Yeah, that's the spike
And
trap
the
that's about
drows,
to drop.
they're
on
just a
us.
fucking huge fucking question mark. What the fuck?
And the Xanathar's just a big pile of what the frick is
Yeah,
even
that's
going
why
on.
I'm like,
Is there gonna be any icing left?
Well, right now the Xanathars, I'm not really like too focused on them because they lost their stone. So
Yep.
I mean, not to say they're out of the game, but they're out of the game. They're everything but out of the game.
yeah. I don't mind following you guys about the Blackstaff way, but personally,
It doesn't jive
if-
with you.
well, my character, it won't jive with him. Me as a player, I don't mind. Like we go. It's just my character himself. He doesn't trust the city at all. So,
Yeah, we got that from the last conversation.
but yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, having to ally with someone that is supposed to be dead in just a major criminal organization, that's not exactly great either.
What's the lesser of two evils according to Max's perspective?
The lesser of the two evil would be actually Manchun.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow. Who's the most evil here?
I mean,
Well, he-
don't ask me to reveal the alignment. That's not information you guys should have access to.
No, I mean of the characters here, or us.
I mean, clearly, it's the bard.
The frick. And I thought Ragnar was bad because he kind of teeters between lawful and neutral evil. But Max is just freaking chaos incarnate. Oh, jeez. Okay. Frick.
Like, I'm gonna tell you, Max is right now just looking out as he wants to be respected in the way of getting paid, and he doesn't care who is going to pay him, whether it's gonna be you, Manchun, the Blackstaff, as long as he's getting paid in a way. So right now he's following you guys because he's been with he's been employed.
What's his asking price per se?
Well, there's no asking price in a way. It's just like right now, like we went on what, almost like a week of like many little adventures and little quests, and like he's seen nothing. So like he doesn't mind getting paid like a fucking like 20 piece of gold or something like that. The only thing is just like pay me so that I can fucking do some like
Exactly 5 days since Max came into the party.
Mhm.
Just to be specific.
yeah.
Well,
Because time is difficult.
Because also, just want to say, we also already paid the Ogre,
Yagra.
Yagra. You know, so it's like, okay, like I'm in the company, I don't get paid, but we're already paying like a fucking intern. You're kidding me?
More like mercenary work that is not part of the
Mercenary.
company. But I get your point.
Well, at
So-
this point, we can negotiate with Blackstuff regarding some sort of payment and whatnot for services rendered, whether it be retroactively or going forward. Because let's face it, we're not exactly giving up the stone for like the goodness of our hearts. We do have a price attached.
I would have been shocked if you guys willingly gave the stone as like
Oh, yeah,
charity.
go ahead. Take it.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, I don't see any of you doing that.
Oh, absolutely not.
Neither do I.
But since we're here, Regna, no, have we all gone up to the library per se for this conversation?
I just
Oh, yeah.
assumed that you guys were like walking in the direction of the manor, and as the conversation took a turn, I just placed you guys at the corner, and figured, they'll take control.
Ugh.
Yeah, so basically, once we get there, Ragna wants to make sure that the stone is still secure in the hiding spot.
Fast forwarding that particular element of role playing, you take a moment to like look for the specific loose stone, pull it out. You see the little lead box, wooden chest is still there. Open it, and you still see the Stone of Galore inside.
Okay, gonna touch it, hold it in my hand to make sure it's real.
It feels like the same texture as last time, at the very least.
Son of a bitch.
What?
No, just the way he's describing it, it's like always vague. Fucker.
I mean, it's not
I
like
love
you
it.
can discern
I
if
know.
it's a fake stone with the same material.
I know.
Are you worried about something?
Just making sure it's still here. Because we don't exactly have armed guards here keeping an eye on the place while we're gone.
Could I detect magic it?
You want to cast your Devil Sight for Detect Magic?
Yep.
You detect magic, and you get the usual ping of everybody's equipment on them, so the ones that you're used to, as well as a few magic items in a dimension. The stone itself emits the brightest and strongest glow of transmutation magic you have ever seen. It is blinding to the point where you cannot keep your eyes on it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking...
What?
Well, I just had to look at it magically. Shit's bright.
What? What the hell are you talking about?
Can you see magic?
Double checking because I believe so.
I believe
Yeah.
you have Detect Magic, yes.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
should have detect magic. You ever tried looking at it with detect magic?
I don't believe so, actually.
Can confirm you have not. You looked at it with Locate Object to make sure it was the Stone of Galore. That's as close as you went with it.
This thing is a shining beacon of transmutation magic.
The
And
hell?
I mean a beacon. So stick it back in the box.
So before Ragnar does that, he's going to go ahead and cast Detect Magic himself.
To detect magic himself, and you get the exact same description I gave to Gix, where you like see the same magical properties of all the equipment you and your companions have, as well as what's lying around the mansion, like the Lantern of Revealing is in a corner somewhere and whatnot. The silver staff that Mikey had is somewhere, and then you look at the Stone of Galore, and you just can't look at it. It is brighter than the sun under
jeez.
Detect
Okay.
Magic.
Oh,
And it has
God.
that gigantic transmutation glow to it.
Okay,
Like,
put him back.
Both of
Close in his
you
eyes.
just realized right there, whatever magic is in there is the most potent magic you have ever seen.
Oh my god, we were storing a bomb in here the whole time. What the hell?
As
Is
a
it?
player, I'm wondering what would happen if Max put it up his ass and you guys were looking with detect magic.
And then suddenly you turn into another giant statue in Waterdeep.
To be fair, if it wasn't transmutation but evocation, I think you have a fair worry about it being a bomb.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But no,
Jeez.
it's this stone emits transmutation magic.
Transmutation. Okay, so maybe it
Okay.
transforms or affects whatever the lock is. Because I
Do
want to say
we-
something like Arcane Lock's Abjuration. So it's
Arcane
not
Lock is
that.
abjuration.
Hmm.
Is that even healthy to be around?
I don't know.
It's a 5G tower.
It's a radioactive isotope.
That's why I have a third penis coming out.
Yeah, you need to get that one out of your mouth.
Good one.
I love how nobody's questioning the second. Oh my god, you guys. I missed you
Yeah.
guys. Okay. So, you've now confirmed some interesting aspects about the Stone of Galore, including how potent it is. And you believe it's still there, just based on the fact that you haven't seen anything before that shines that bright. What now? What do you all do?
Okay. I think at this point, probably just beyond our safety at this point, we should, and the safety of this thing, for our safety, we should probably get this out of here.
Well, don't. Can I look at the box?
Well, it's not exactly in a box.
No, I want to look at the box and see what it's made of. All right, it's lined with lead, if I
Yep.
remember.
It is indeed
Mhm.
lined with lead in the inside. It looks like an
Oh, right.
inconspicuous wooden box. And Ragnar, you would just from trial and error notice that putting it in the box completely nullifies not just the insane, searing, bright transmutation glow of it, but you don't even get a ping of its presence when it's in its box. Lead is literally blocking any magical detection you have of it.
Thank fuck.
I believe that's the reason why it hasn't been stolen yet. The one who actually thought about that was a really bright and intelligent being.
I know, right? Amalia's amazing with that idea.
Silence is deafening.
I
Dude
know.
is dead. He's on the floor. Someone call him an ambulance.
Wee-woo, wee-woo, wee-woo.
Whoa!
Gosh.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you the silent treatment.
I mean, the first occurrence that you guys had of a lead box to protect a magical item was Amalia Castlenter when she showed you the eye.
True.
After that, you guys got your own lead line box for the stone.
Yeah.
It was still a good idea of getting one.
Yeah, but just wanting to say that my first character was a barbarian.
I know, but what was your second character?
Zoomcan was a
Exactly.
druid.
Exactly. Anyways, next. Have you guys made a
Okay.
decision and want to proceed to seeing what the Black Staff? Are you still willing to further discuss things together?
So, I do feel like we should go see Blackstaff one more time. But should we bring the stone with us?
That's exactly the problem that I'm thinking.
Just to
We
be
bring-
sure also, she did ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Can we make a fake?
You could certainly try.
I'm asking the guys,
What's
like the as a character, like, can we make a fake?
And how do you propose we do that?
Take a stone, bring it to her. She doesn't know what it looks like.
Well, here's the thing. She's a spellcaster, right? What if she uses detect magic and sees absolutely nothing with it?
And
Don't you think she would find that a bit funny? Because after all,
we
Yix
all,
and I just looked at it ourselves and we nearly blinded ourselves doing so.
yeah, And the only thing we can say is just that's the stone that was given to us.
So that would just make us look like a bunch of fools being run around for nothing at this point.
I need to know, what can and can't the Blackstaff do if we have the stone on us? Can she confiscate it?
The city again?
It doesn't belong to the city.
The money that it's holding, yes.
Yes, but I mean, if you have the key to a box, can the city confiscate the key? What's inside the box belongs to the city, yes, but the box itself and the key do not.
Yeah, but don't forget, the city can always change the rules or whatever they want, or always create like in-laws or whatever.
So that's what I'm worried about. How do we make sure that if we do bring it, we leave with it?
Well, we can always attempt to try to hold on to it, but Max is kind of right in this regard. Not only can they enforce the rules, but nothing would really stop them from trying to take it by force.
Now, the other question is, the Blackstaff knows that we have it. What's stopping them from sending a raid in that case to get it from us?
I would say it would be probably in a way wise to bring it somewhere else in the manor, somewhere really well hidden. Because if we bring it outside, I'm sure there's probably like some of Manchun's men outside the manor.
Well, in that case, it's probably safest to be where it is right now. Because inside a fireplace like this, that's not exactly an easy spot to find.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking probably the cellar.
Yeah,
We could probably dig a good 6 feet under.
we don't have that
and
kind of time
pull
to
it back
dig.
up.
The cellar is hard stone also. Just to be perfectly clear on that.
Does somebody have move earth?
No. Oh no, why don't you ask Zoomcan?
Zoomcan had it. He had it.
Yeah, but then again, doesn't say it has to be like loose earth and soil for it to work. I don't think stone does the trick.
If it's hard soil, it becomes smooth soil, and I believe if I do it again, I can move it. So it's just a fact of how many times I can cast it for the same 5-foot square.
Movert is also a 6th level spell.
Sorry, then I think I got the wrong spell. One sec.
You might have thought about Mold Earth, I think?
Yeah, mold earth.
Yeah, mold earth.
Mold Earth is a cantrip. But it's a lot less powerful also, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it basically allows you to move like the 5-foot cube of soil or dirt, sand, or whatnot to just move it. Loki, chill. Okay, so do we leave it here then?
I think there's a very high chance that if we go to Blackstaff with it, that we won't be leaving with it.
Yeah, but there's always the risk that every time we leave, that we could just come back and it won't be here at all.
Are you suggesting we bring it? Prove that it exists?
Yeah, because we're already kind of running low on evidence to begin with. Because you saw the circles. I don't think they'll buy our story with that much.
So you want me to put it up my ass?
I don't know. Is your ass lined with
beacon.
lead?
He could be.
Shove the bugs up your ass, it'll be lined up with lead.
No, yeah. Okay. So let's just make sure that someone is always watching our back.
Naturally.
I'll try to get us really through the city as fast as we can.
Of
So
course.
follow me. And stay silent. Be like a shadow.
I think
Swift
it's a
like
good
the
idea.
shadow of a moon.
I think
Be
it's
mysterious
not...
as the dark side of it.
Yeah, sorry, I misquoted that song, because do you know how many decades it's been since I've heard it?
You tell me.
More than 2.
I mean, to be fair, it came out in like 1998, so
Proceeding along, so what's the plan? Who's going to hold on to the stone?
I would say Scalpel holds it.
Scalpel holds it. He will keep it in his bag. In
I
the lead
will-
box.
I will lead the party ahead with my city secrets.
and I'll tail behind to keep an eye out for people.
Okay. So, Scalpel brings the stone with him, and you guys exit the premise of the manor, heading towards the Blackstaff Tower as the sun is, well, on its way setting, not quite over the horizon yet, but you feel like you should be close to the appointed hour in question. And using Max's best knowledge of the different alleys and zigzags that you can go across the city, you make extremely quick progress, also sticking to particular parts that you know very few pedestrians are and no coaches and drays pass also, leaving you with the least amount of people being able to look at you or snoop at your stuff around. Basically taking not only the fastest but the most secure route that you know. And eventually you arrive on Sword Street, heading down to the Blackstaff Tower, right over here. You arrive in front of the grounds in question of the tower. As far as you're concerned, your journey was without any issue.
Cool.
I suggest that I hold on to it. Because if trouble happens, I will turn invisible and I'll make a break for it.
Perfect.
Fair enough.
There you go. Keep it safe. And Scalpel hands over the lead box to you.
Thank you, Scalpel.
And you do your best to shove it inside the your own backpack.
You're looking rather shiny today. Did I mention that?
Oh, stop with the complimenting. Please.
All right. Whatever you say.
So, group enters inside the premise of the Blackstaff Tower. Correct?
Correct.
And
hmm
being greeting you inside is the note taker and secretary that you saw yesterday in game, obviously, who immediately perks up at your presence and speaks up. Oh, I don't have your name, but the Blackstaff herself said that you should meet her somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Yes, she is expecting to meet you at Castle Waterdeep.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
What?
I'm just passing along a message.
Was
Forgive
that-
me, but where the frick is that?
Castle Waterdeep on the map is this big structure over here.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, so the building that we only passed like 3 times earlier today.
Yep.
Oof, okay. Ah, shit. Alright, come on guys, we gotta book it.
She's expecting you in a few hours, I believe. She was supposed to contact you if you didn't show up on time. At least you were punctual, so that's good.
Yeah. Alright, well thank you for relaying the message.
It's just part of my duty. No need to thank me. Have a good day to all of you sirs and still sir as she's squinting to look at Max.
Yes. Whatever you want, sweetie. I leave.
And she just looks a little flustered and then dives back into the notes she was writing down. So, with your new direction and bearing, why why is the arrow not like there?
Disappearing.
Yeah, it was just like frozen there on 0 feet. I'm like, why?
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yeah, I wasn't even holding my mouse or anything, so I don't know. But with your new bearing, you guys are oriented to go towards Castle Waterdeep, which without necessarily asking for a history check, the bulk of you would at least know that this is where like all of the words are hard. All of the governing decisions and like planning is done within the city. It's essentially more of a government area than a like fortification at this point. But you all head in this particular direction. And as you arrive in front of the entrance, you can see looking back the yawning portal. Who, Ragnar, you look at it with a little bit of nostalgic, well, look into your eyes, knowing that this is where this particular misadventure started, and oh, so simpler times at this point.
Very much simpler times.
Very much simpler times. But you arrive in front of the gates of Castle Waterdeep, where 2 guards are currently posted, and immediately stop you. Halt! Who goes here?
We had a meeting with the Blackstaff. She asked us to meet her here.
The Blackstaff.
Yep.
Yeah, we're supposed to expect someone. Oh, let them through. Alright, Leah, move along. And they no longer bar you away, letting like the actual portcullis of the place opening. So, entering inside Castle Waterdeep, you just make your way through the little courtyard towards what looks like the main entrance. 2 guards again posted there were surveilling. Mention the same thing, and they tell you to turn right immediately and then go second door on the left in the corridor that the right turn leads you into. Entering inside the castle, I don't have a big, rich description of it, but from what I heard, or what I've read to be specific, it is very opulent and spacious, but it also kept very functional, as no like nobility lives there. Not a lot of activity. Also, it looks pretty barren and empty. But heading into, I assume you guys don't deviate from the directions you were given.
Nope.
Okay, good, because I don't have
There's
a
a
lot
lot.
of stuff prepped for whatever you guys would improvise in there.
Max
Shut up.
would not.
Yeah, the
No,
last
but-
thing we want to do is cause trouble here. Max.
No, yeah, but Max would not be comfortable. He's not happy being there. He hates it. And if you guys really like know him, you would see it from his face. Like he's trying to like look fine, but he's not.
Max,
Mm.
who came in?
Mm.
You
Just
you want
hates
to a Capricin?
Just smile and wave.
Yeah. Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
Smile and wave, boys.
Okay. So, heading inside the directions that you were basically given, you start skirting along the right wall. Pretty sure that that wall just separates you from the courtyard. You're not far inside the castle, but you see it is a corridor that is very nicely lit with some candle lights, just basically hovering magically above you. And counting doors 1, 2. Second one is actually slightly ajar, and you can see some light sources coming from it and hushed conversation tones.
Can we hear what's going on?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
What's happening? Okay.
7.
17. Okay,
Dang.
Ragnar, to you it just like nondescript whispers. To you, Max, even though the nerves and the discomfort is getting to you, you do manage to like get your senses just sharp enough to hear what sounds to you like budget conversations. Oh, dang. Okay, well, 20 gives you the same
Money.
result.
Jeez.
20 gives the same result. Gix is also listening, and those are basically budget conversation that you're hearing from at least 3 distinct voices coming from that room. One of them you all recognize as the Blackstaff. Another one sounds familiar to Ragna, but only Ragna. And another one none of you recognize.
Talking about money already.
We've got to have money.
It's just funny how these
I don't
already.
know why. Maybe it's because I'm tired or something. But when you said budget conversations, I didn't think you were talking about conversations about budget. So much as like really terrible
No,
class conversation. I'm like,
no, this is not
oh
like
my
school
god.
economics. You can grasp that people are talking about actually funding, like the Order of the Magistrates and the Hippogriffs and the Candle Lighter and Dung Sweeper guilds, and figuring out how taxpayers are gonna like burden all of that.
Max is just like not talking out really loud so that like everybody hears, but he's just like already talking about the money they're gonna get from the vault and everything. It's really frustrating, really fucking nobles.
Okay, so
Don't worry, Max. Patience. Patience goes a long way.
so do you guys go in?
Yep.
So group opens the door that was like left slightly open for you, and inside you see what looks like pretty large room, nicely decorated, very well lit also. Large table in the middle with a bunch of chairs, like 10 of them. 3 people currently sitting across basically a corner together. One of them is Vajrasafar, the black staff, as you recognize. Another one, Ragnar's familiar with this figure, but it is a round and opulent-looking man dressed very fancily. I will send a picture in the Discord. I believe Ragnar will recognize him, or at least I very hope so. Where is his picture in my files? There we go.
Oh yeah, it's the guy at the opera, the one of the masked lords that's not exactly worried about anonymity.
Correct. That would be Myrt.
Yeah, Mirt.
Yes. Also, if you remember correctly, he is secretly Renair's boss.
Mm-hmm.
And the last figure you see is that of an incredibly well-dressed, fancy-looking woman in like silvery robes.
Oh gee, I wonder who this could be.
Picture of her being sent in the Discord right now.
Yep, Laeral Silverhand.
That you wouldn't know that in character,
Yeah, I know.
but that is completely correct. And as you guys enter the room, all 3 people turn quiet and look at your direction. And the black staff basically motions you to all come in and take a seat.
All right. Go in, and Ragnar pulls up the chair and immediately leans back, puts his hooves on the table.
You can see there's mixed reactions from all 3 of their faces. Funnily enough, it is the black staff that looks the most annoyed at what you're doing right now.
And then
Max,
go ahead.
sorry, Max would just like sit down, put his elbow on the table, and just like listen carefully, trying to like holding his hands in front of his mouth just to make sure that he doesn't say anything bad.
Okay. Scalpel will take a chair right besides Max and basically pat you a little bit on the back before just adopting a more neutral posture.
I'm going to take a standing position behind Ragnar.
Okay. Very glad to see that is Blackstaff talking. Very glad to see that you've all arrived. Actually, pretty early also, but that is a very good sign. Let me introduce you all first. First business matter. Let me introduce you to the Open Lord of the city herself, Lady Laeral Silverhand. And you see that the gray-haired, half-elven lady just takes a very polite bow and gives you all a very warm smile.
Milady.
Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence here. I have been told that there is a grave and urgent matter that needs discussion and resolution within our fair city.
Yep. One that has been causing a whole lot of trouble here.
You have no idea. And the Blackstaff also resumes. Our other esteemed guest today would be Myrt himself, one of the masked lords of the city, although albeit not quite masked right now. I still don't quite understand why you make such a habit of exposing yourself.
We've met.
Have you? And Mitre gives a hearty chuckle and just mentions he's been a customer to the opera a few times. So yes, we've crossed paths. Very happy to see you.
Likewise.
Max is just a little bit like surprised, but not surprised at the same time as hearing this from Ragnar. Like, he knows him. Okay. Fuck.
And Laeral also now speaks up. And who do we have the pleasure of meeting, if I may ask formally?
You can call me Ragna. And then this here is Max, Gix, and Scalpel.
I'm not moving.
He's
Also
a bit
just
nervous.
looking.
Don't mind them, they're not exactly attentive.
Well,
I'd raise an eyebrow at that.
there's still important business discussions that we need to address here, Tom. So, let me resume the information I was given by Vajra Safar here herself. You've mainly accidentally stumbled into a race for the embezzled gold from the previous lord of the city.
We believe so, yes.
And you've entered into possession into one of the elements of the key to enter, wherever it is hidden.
Correct.
You wouldn't happen to know where that particular place is?
For the time being, we're afraid not.
And Vajra Safar just raises a hand. The last time we had a discussion also, they were under the effect of a truth forcing spell. If one would be so kind to reproduce the effect, and Laeral just cuts, that will not be necessary. I am willing to afford them my trust if they were forward enough to walk here. So, did you bring the particular piece of the key that you hold?
We did.
Excellent. There's one particular question that the Black Staff neglected to ask, or didn't think of, but I am mostly curious about. Once you put your own hands on the resources and funds that are embezzled, what were you planning on doing with? And you can see she is squinting her eyes and observing all of you very intensely currently.
You want the honest answer or you don't want the good answer?
Brace me with your honesty, please.
Money is money.
Honestly, just wanted to keep enough of it for myself to stay out of trouble for the rest of my days. Maybe give the rest to a few orphanages.
Oh. Do you have a penchant for orphanages?
Let's just say I know what it's like to grow up on the streets. That's no place for a child.
Not everyone is fancy enough to be born in a noble family.
So, you were intending to keep a part of the money for yourself, at least enough to live, and then the rest would be donated, essentially?
In a manner speaking. Wherever it goes specifically, it doesn't really matter to me.
Very well. That establishes the baseline I wanted for having you around. And now, if I'm being truthful with you, I believe you've encountered a lot of trouble during your little quest for the missing pieces of this key.
We can give you the full laundry list if you have an hour.
I have the entire day. But first of all, do any of you have any idea of the magnitude of the gold that is missing from the coffers of the city?
More than most people could even dream of seeing in their lifetime.
That is definitely accurate.
Yeah.
No
If I
guess?
recall correct number, I believe it was 500,000 gold pieces.
I'm surprised you've heard of such a number, because we have been extremely careful not to leak how much was missing from our funds. But it is indeed correct. 500,000. It's 500,000 gold. 500,000.
How on earth did you let Neverember make off with that much? Surely people would have noticed before even a quarter of that would have been lifted, or a fraction of that.
That is a question for my predecessors as well as whoever was in office before me. As soon as the corruption was learned, basically the entirety of the staff was ousted and I was put in place here instead. Unfortunately, I was under the impression that Neverember ran off with the money up to Neverwinter, which was making things extremely complicated when it comes to recovering it. The fact that it might be secured here in Waterdeep makes for an interesting twist to this story.
Oh, trust me, if he took it to Neverwinter, we would have heard about it.
And she just raises an eyebrow. Essentially, you feel like there's a question coming to her mind, but at the same time she doesn't seem willing to ask.
Yeah. Long story short, I came from Neverwinter. So anyone bringing in any sort of money, we would have heard at the bottom levels.
I have my doubts about if you would have heard of such an astronomical level of income approaching the city, mainly because if Daggold would have been capable of keeping it on the hush for years here, I don't think it'd be difficult for him to keep it on the hush somewhere else where he's not well known. But at the same time, I don't really want to doubt you, since you and your group seems to have been able to uncover parts of the mystery that even we haven't figured out. May I see the particular key piece that you are holding?
I'm going to mentally ask Ragnar whether or not he wants me to do it or not.
Before we do, one condition. We still hold on to this for the time being. Because there is still one other bit of business that we want to ascertain for ourselves before we formalize an alliance per se.
Elaborate, please.
So, I believe Blackstaff here has told you everything that we told her.
You apparently have a noble patron that you were not willing to disclose to the Blackstaff.
Correct.
And you wanted to investigate something with them?
Yes,
Do they hold another piece of the key?
they do.
What
However,
was your deal with them?
let's just say that they were aware of how much money was embezzled, and if they believed that if that amount was true, they had their own purposes to deal with it. They claim that their purpose, their motivation is noble. But let's just say something came to light recently that has thrown considerable shade on it.
And pray tell, what came to light?
So, are you familiar with Manshun?
Safa here did mention that you claim to have had an encounter with this dead artifact.
Claim.
Artifact. Well, that's certainly a strong word for it.
Yeah.
Well, they made a claim that supposedly this patron may be involved in devil worship as well. Because I don't know about you, but that seems like it's something, a bit of an epidemic here in the city.
You can definitely see that there's glances being given between the three people at the table here. It's not as much of an epidemic as you would like to believe, but it has been a thorn in the side of a lot of people.
Well, let's just say that if I had a platinum piece for every noble family that I've run into dealing with this shit, I could have retired by now.
And how many platinum pieces would that be, if you don't mind speaking plainly, Mr. Pragna?
Well, I know how to scrounge by. I can make a copper stretch.
Ah, men of the street, huh?
You can take me off the streets, but you can't take the streets out of me.
No, but there's ways for it to make sure that the street doesn't come back to you.
Wouldn't that be nice?
As far as I'm concerned, I've heard that you now have your own property here in Waterdeep.
Yeah, of varying quality.
Well, it's a matter of time until you manage to scrounge up the necessary money to make it back. Spit in you. No?
Yeah, it's just a matter of time at this point.
Do you require any financing?
Yeah, we've been mostly working on it by ourselves.
Well, I believe there's at least one thing that is owed to you. And he stands up from his chair, goes to one of the back walls opposite to where you're standing, and pulls up a small chest that none of you actually notice
What
at
the hell?
first, and brings it to the table near all of you and pushes it to you. It's now facing mostly Ragna and Max currently, with Scalpel being like a bit more to the side and Gix being behind.
With all due respect, what the hell is this?
That is the bounty that is owed to you for the information you brought about Floxen's whereabouts.
And you can almost see Regna's ears perk up like, oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? Because now he's suddenly remembering. Right. Alright, Max, check it.
Max opens it reluctantly.
You open it reluctantly, and inside of it, not that many coins actually, but they're shining with a very bright platinum look.
Hmm. Hey, that's
I
pretty
ask,
good.
how much is there?
If my count is correct, that should be 50.
Well, there you go, Max. You're getting paid.
I close it. And I like pull it over to Scalpel.
And Scalpel, having also noticed the shine in there, is going to do his best to stash it in his bag, but it's still a decently large chest. They definitely didn't take the smallest chest they could have found for that, so it's a little oversized. Well, so...
It's much appreciated.
Well, it was owed to you, so consider that at the very least a gesture of good fate, and worst case scenario, a debt well paid.
Yeah, considering we ran into the bastard 3 times now.
And yet, you breed. Most people don't
Everybody
even
keeps
meet him
saying
once. Go ahead, Max, sorry.
No, just everybody keeps saying that.
Well, most people only meet him once and don't live to tell the tale, so you really should consider it an impressive feat. As for what now? How do we
Alright.
proceed forward? And Laeral perks up. Well, the official thing to do would be to request the stone to be out of your hands and leave matters to us.
I'm afraid we cannot agree to that as is.
And she raises an eyebrow, but at the same time, you can't help but notice there is a very, very slight smile. Like a
Insight?
corner smile. Give me an insight.
Me
Or-
too.
Give me an insight and also give me a history.
History?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Almost did insight twice. Nope.
Okay. History.
Yeah.
11 and 11.
Wow.
Okay, so an 11 insight doesn't really give you much, but a 15, I would say right now that you think she's amused at the idea of, like, essentially not just, like, keeling over and handing the stone over to them. 6 in history doesn't give you much, but 11, barely enough to say that before being the open lord and being thrusted into this position, you would know that Laeral had a bit of a reputation being a, like, wanderer of the world and adventurer herself.
Okay.
Let me get to the exact page. Laeral, Rule of Kingdom. Okay, I don't see it anymore in, like, her page in the appendix, but I remember it being mentioned a few times that Laeral was indeed like a bit of an adventurer of some renown also, back in her days.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
Very well then. So, if you're not just willing to hand over the stone, what do you propose?
At the very least, we need to see this through to the end. We're far in too deep just to leave this alone now.
We have Msyk on our ass. If we give you the stone, eventually he'll get to us.
So,
We'll need some kind of leverage and protection.
and this is where you see the Blackstaff herself start incanting something and like draw some glyphs into the air, and you can see something in her her eyes, her pupils change, and they now look similar to every time that Gixenal has used his Devil's Sight, or Ragna also used Detect Magic, and she just starts scanning the room. And a couple of seconds pass, and she just nods to Laeral.
Is the room secure?
As far as we can tell, yes. Manshun did have clairvoyance capabilities. So if it is indeed him that you met, very relevant to know that he's not listening to us right this very moment.
All right. So in that case, shall we give you a quick peek at this thing then?
I am mostly curious. So I'm interested in seeing, if you don't mind.
Max would have a huge smile, but he'll be hiding it behind his hands, like when he's listening, because he's not gonna tell the backstaff to like not look into it straight away, just for her to get blinded by the light.
She's still using Detect Magic?
It is still active, yes.
Ragna's going to look at Max like, are you seriously doing this? What are you, 5? On second thought, no, that might actually be for the best.
Waiting on your signal.
Ragna gives the nod.
Right. I take out the stone.
You take out the
I open the box
itself, and you see the.
And I
got
make
the
sure
stone.
that I open the box, but I make sure that it's facing everybody.
Okay, and you immediately see that Myrtle and Laeral just lean forward and like have their eyes widen a bit at the notion that this is the stone. However, you can see that the Blackstaff is extremely uncomfortable and actually looks away. Gosh, what the? Oh,
What's
give me a
going
moment.
on?
And she just like does some wave motion in the air, and after a bit,
Close it.
no, please open it back again. I didn't even get a good look. You open it back again.
I ask her. I mentally ask Ragna.
Do it.
All right. So I open it back up.
Open it back up. There's no doubt that whatever that is of incredible magical power.
Let's see.
I would say this is potentially the real deal, yes. And she just like rubs her eyes.
Yeah, got me too the first time.
Same.
Well, glad to know that we are all on the same level, that this is something potentially out of this world. Regardless, and Lady Laeral picks up again. So, where do the pieces stand here? Are you able to formulate to me where the other parts are? One with your noble patron that you apparently will investigate for devil worshipping?
Yes. And then one in the hands of the one claiming to be Manshun.
And one with the drows.
Drows?
Yeah.
And neither Merton nor Blackstaff have any reaction, but you can see that Lady Laeral, her ears perk up at the notion of drow.
Insight!
Give me an insight.
Do I on?
2120. Wow. Okay, so no whispers necessary since it's going to be information for the two of you.
We're going to read her like a book.
You don't read her like a book, but you have a feeling that the notion that drows are involved into this doesn't seem to surprise her that much, and yet at the same time, she looks mildly impressed.
Oh, something wrong, milady?
Very much so. I didn't think that drows would be involved in this, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense.
Well, you recall the stories of elven folk being killed in the middle of night? Sudden bang, and then they just drop. Yeah.
It rings a bell, and the black staff perks up. Yeah, I believe that your particular group clandestinely took care of the matter, right?
Yeah, and I have the scars to prove it. And Ragnar pulls down the part of the shirt show where he had the bullet wound.
That's what the gun did.
And do you pray remember where this happened?
It was down in the dock ward. Unfortunately, the suspect had escaped, but they never bothered to show their face again.
And you can see that Lady Laeral takes a very deep breath and starts looking into her robes and starts producing. At some point after looking into it, she produces a piece of paper and hands it over to all of you.
Nani?
There is writing on it. Who here speaks Elven?
I don't.
Cool.
I do.
Okay. So,
Translate.
so only Max?
I think that's correct.
So,
Gix, you don't?
do not.
Damn. Elven Inferno. And just to... I'm also going to check Scalpel, even though he's not. The player is not here. No, he does not. Okay. So, all of you recognize the Elven script, basically because it's an extremely common script. But the only person here who can read it would be Max. So, in Player's Journal, Max, you now have something you can look at. And
What's
for
it
the
say?
sake of narrative and camera, I will also put it into Kaiko's perspective.
Okay, I take it and I look at her and I'm like, can I read it out loud?
Feel free to.
To her ageless majesty, Laeral Silverhand, the witch queen of Stornander, lady of the north, she of the seven sisters, chosen of Mistra and open lord... load? Open load?
Overload.
Open load of Waterdeep?
Oh no, I made a typo! No! I swear
I
it's
love it.
Lord, not load. I swear.
I understood it was lord, but I was reading again and I was like, wait, load?
Good job. Anyways, continue.
Your spies are to be commended. Rest assured, my presence in your fair city is purely recreational, though if fortune smile upon me, this visit could benefit us both. Your predecessor left the city of Splendor in a sorry state, but you have done wonders to lift the spirit of the citizenry during the short time in office. I know how politics offends you, so forgive me for taking this opportunity to point out the obvious. We can make both our cities stronger and strike back at he who robbed Waterdeepians of their wealth and
Waterdeepians.
dignity. I'm speaking, of course, of that dirty sack of rats, Daggle Neverhammer. That's
Wow.
the phrase you used
Oh,
to
there's a
describe
space
him
missing.
yesterday to the emissary from Mirabar. Is it not? Evidently, my spies are also to be commended. Why let Neverhammer get away with his crimes against Luskan and Waterdeep? Can we be allies, if not friends? These are the questions that haunt my dreams as surely as I haunt yours. Sincerely, Jay.
Luskin? You mean those frickin' pirates?
Yes, those frickin' pirates, as you've put it very eloquently.
What the hell do they do?
Complicated story. I don't know if you want me to bore you with politics.
Well, considering we're already waist deep in it, what's getting us up to the shoulders?
Very well. So, Luskin, often known as the City of Sails, more commonly attributed as the City of Piracy and Lawlessness. They've been wanting to get into, or one particular ruler of the city has been wanting to be part of the Lord's Alliance for the longest of time, and everybody else has been denying access to them. That's the very basic gist of it. The thing that's interesting is that the people that brought me these letters were drows at night in the dockwards just about 4 days ago.
So who's this J fellow?
Player quickly.
Yes,
When did Zumken die? 4 days ago?
5 days ago.
5 days ago.
Ah,
So
interesting.
So once after they got the stone, they went and talked to her. Well, the eye, I mean, the eye.
Going back in character. So they brought me this 4 days ago. I have not had any contact with them since then, but I wasn't sure what to make of this.
Well, it seems like that they're making a play of sorts, since they got their hands on one of the pieces to the key here.
Seems to me like it. I
So-
still don't understand what their goal is. Obviously, they were being very vague.
So, if I were to describe one of them to you, would it maybe ring some bells?
Dressing fancily with a giant hat and eye patch.
Yes, I hate that goddamn hat. Lots of feathers. Big
One
one.
feather.
That's feather.
Yep,
One
seems like
used as gigantic feather.
that we have had a run-in with this individual as well.
I've had a run-in a few times with him decades ago. Never thought I would be brought here back again once I started doing politics here, and she just starts massaging her temples.
Do you know where we ran into him?
Feel free to tell me. I don't think things could get any worse now anyways.
Deep down below the city, in the sewers where the Xanathar's Guild resides. Massaging harder intensifies.
Yes. Exactly. So, the Xanatar had a piece of the key, which Shay now has.
Yes, and you can
And
thank us for him
Manchun
getting it.
Impersonator is having you investigate your noble patron.
Wait, how did she call them?
Jay,
Jay, okay. I heard like Shay or something.
Jay.
Like, oh, wait. Okay. Sorry.
Well, this particular drow in question, I don't know much about him as, well, him and his group likes to say in secrecy, and specialize in subterfuge, but the head in question would go by the name of Jarlaxle Bane.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm writing it down for you if you want, just double checking the spelling.
Yeah. Jarlaxle Bane. Bane.
Your guess is as good as mine on the exact spelling.
Benra.
Benra. Benra. Benra. I don't know. Frick. I barely mastered English as is.
As for his presence in the city, I wasn't sure what he wanted, but now that I have a clue that he is after this money, he must be stopped.
Yeah.
The
I
only
couldn't
thing
agree
is
more.
we don't have any clues about it.
You don't have any clues about him.
Unfortunately, he knows where we live, though.
Has he made any move to come and see you?
Not directly, but let's just say that they left some means to taunt us, if you will.
So, essentially, you're being coerced to work by at least a Manchun impersonator. You've been hired by some noble patron And knowing how cunning Jarlaxle is, you're also playing into his plan right now if he's letting you run loose.
So it would seem.
So the reasonable request for the security of this entire endeavor would be for once again for me to ask you for the stone. However, I will acknowledge your desire to remain a member of this
Another one.
endeavor.
Yes, because if Jarl Axel, as you call him, is still watching us, he would find it funny if we were to suddenly stop our activities.
I think everybody would find it funny. Anyone who would have their eyes on you.
Which is everyone right now.
Were you typically followed in the streets? Do you know if anybody was keeping tabs on you?
Well, there was one time where we did catch someone tailing me and a former companion. We had a bit of a scrap in the street trying to apprehend them, but they escaped. The only thing I know about them is that they may have been of elven heritage, since my sleep spell didn't affect them at all.
Either of elven heritage or of hardy enough constitution.
Trust me, I can put down fairly hardy people to sleep. And no
She
average
just takes
Joe
a
would be able
glance
to.
at you and starts judging you for your character.
Just ask Durnan at the Yawning Portal. I saved many patrons the first night I was there.
That is not an uncommon occurrence at the Yawning Portal. The place attracts a lot of interesting adventurer and wannabe heroes, as well as whatever horrors beneath him. But Durnan is a reliable person. He wouldn't let anyone down his watch.
Real question. How much of a permit does he have to pay to keep that place open?
At this point, considering how much attraction the Yawning Portal brings to the city, not that much of a special permit. He just has a note sworn to his good friend here, and Myth just chuckles a bit. Old adventuring buddy of mine. He keeps the place safe. That's his end of the bargain.
Fair enough.
So, how do you plan on proceeding forward then? I want to know what your plans are, and I want to concoct something with you.
Well, first, what we personally want to accomplish is to investigate our patrons within the very near future.
How
we want to
near?
make within days.
Understand that time is very sensitive right now, with so many eyes literally on all of the pieces.
Let's just say I'm keeping it vague for their anonymity in the off chance that they are innocent. But if they are indeed guilty of what we suspect them, we'll be throwing them to the town guard right under their carts.
Is there any reason you're not willing to cooperate with me here? You have my full attention right now.
I don't want to be mean, but if you already have the trials spying on you, there's probably already someone else spying on you too. So if any information gets leaked out, yeah.
So, you think that there's people spying on me right now?
Well, not here now at this moment, but in this castle, most probably.
So you're not willing to divulge the information because you're afraid that that information would go beyond these walls, even against my will. Am I catching your drift correctly?
That's what
Did
he
I stutter?
thinks. Ragna's going to turn to Gix and Scalpel. What do you think? Telepathically to Gix, of course.
I think the situation is kind of shit. I think we put ourselves there to a certain extent.
Because it seems like that she is at least willing to play ball on at least letting us continue the work, and, well, we still have a negotiation on pay and compensation.
I agree. Pay and compensation are my priority in this case.
Scalpel.
I'm willing to play ball.
Money.
Well, with all due respect, my lady, before I reveal the specifics of the patron, we do have 2 conditions.
Humor me.
The first, I believe we have already established that we continue working in order to see that this adventure of ours comes to a fruitful conclusion. And then secondly,
I'm willing to humor you, but please understand that failure will definitely have repercussions.
at this point, the only failure that I fear is death itself.
Hence why I will once again be requesting the stone, but humor me with your other condition.
The other condition is that we receive some sort of compensation for the work that we will be providing going forward.
What compensation were you promised by your different parties that are now all having you do their bidding?
Well, 2 of them promised that we get to keep our heads, so not exactly a high bar to go with.
We can do better than that.
And as for the patron, let's just say that while money would be in short supply, they did promise contacts and hopefully a stable living situation.
Whatever money they offered, I'm willing to give you 20% more.
Well, I'm afraid 20% of 0 is still 0, I'm afraid.
Didn't you say that they promised little money? That would
Very
still indicate
little.
that they...
As in
promised.
scraps.
Okay,
As
quick out of
in-
character. Do you remember how much you were promised by the Castle Hunters?
Not a lot.
You were promised 10% of what was in the vault.
Oh, geez, 10%. Ooh.
Which, now that you know how much is in the vault...
That would be, frick, 50,000 gold?
Yeah.
Jesus, okay.
And Laeral just said 20% more than what you were promised.
I'm gonna mentally say to Ragna, take the fucking deal. It's not gonna get better than this, bud. Either we don't die, we get paid garbage, or we get paid. Let's go.
So the terms that they promised us was if we were to successfully find the vault, they would give us 10% of the contents.
Is there a problem? I mean, Laeral looks specifically at you right now, Max.
Nothing.
Then, do we have an accord where I will essentially hand you over, once this endeavor is done, 20% more, but I secure your cooperation?
Yeah.
Blackstaff, and you already see her pull out, but essentially produce ink, quill, and a parchment, and she just starts writing stuff. Very well. While we're formalizing this agreement, I'm interested in the remainder of the information you have. Can you remind me where you've claimed to have met with Floxen as well as apparently Manchun?
So, the first time we encountered Floxen
No,
was just...
where he's hiding.
Oh, where he's hiding. Colat Towers.
Call that towers down in the southern words.
Yeah, well, it's not really called that tower. Well, that tower is like the entryway. to where
Inside
it's
there,
hidden.
inside they had a transportation circle that took him to some bizarre location, some sanctum of some sort or another.
Would you say it was a
Extra-dimensional
demiplane?
space.
I'm afraid I'm not entirely sure what that is,
A
but
demiplane would be a pocket dimension that exists out of the material plane. It's a complicated creation, but any competent wizard could accomplish it and just build their own structure floating into the ethereal sea over there.
yeah, that sounds right. We did see a lot of weird purple floaty shit out there.
Somewhere into the astral sea.
Yeah,
I've mistaken ethereal sea and astral sea. I'm so dumb!
it's okay. I get those mixed up all the time.
Well, ethereal sea is something else in another game. Astral Sea is in D&D. Doesn't
Well,
matter.
there is an ethereal plane, but that's more like ghosts and spirits.
Yes, but we're talking about the Astral Sea in D&D.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has his own pocket dimension with an anchor of some sort in Colette Tower, if I am grasping correctly what you are describing.
Yeah. And
So-
I'm only... And I still have a feeling that Fluxen would not swear fealty to this individual if they weren't the real Manchun.
That is a valid point, but Fluxen would swear fealty. And she starts pondering. Maybe. Maybe you're correct.
Insight.
Give me an insight.
14.
14. Best you can tell is that she's pondering, and she seems uncertain.
Is there someone else that Fluxen may work for?
There's a little bit of a sigh coming out of her before she just collects her thoughts. I'm not intimately familiar with Fluxen or with the insides of the Zentarum, so it's not like I could give you a specific name. But from my understanding, Fluxen, he's not an accomplished spellcaster. So whoever within the Zentarum would be of similar strength to Manchun, or even inferior but still strong, could command loyalty? But I'm speculating. This is idle speculation with no evidence.
Alright. What other gaps do we need to fill for you?
Well, at this point, it seems like we need to start mounting our plan of attack.
Well, I can assure you that with how soon that the Zentarum plan to act, you need to hit them hard and fast before they have a chance to even retaliate.
Well, considering that we are talking about the missing embezzled gold of the entire city, you can bet that something will be made ready within the following days. What I'm
well, if-
interested is what's happening with your noble patron.
Well, if we're in accord in our agreement for working together, we can give the name.
Well, my associate here, Blackstaff, is writing down what would be a formal agreement.
I would like to get up and read what she's writing.
Well, you do get up and turn around the table a bit, and they don't stop you, although Milt is like frowning at you a bit, but there's no like word being said. And you get behind the Blackstaff's shoulder and start seeing she has really good penmanship. First thing you notice, and after that, I don't have like a legal jargon document ready for you guys,
Yeah.
but the essential gist of what you're reading is that the associate party from Trollskull Manor consents to helping the city recover the embezzled gold for 20% more of what was promised from their noble patron, accounting to about 12% of what is within the vault. In return, they share all appropriate information regarding the investigation, as well as helping the city secure the stone so it does not fall into ill hands. And that is about where she is in drafting the contract.
And quick question: do you guys even have any information for us, or is it just us who's got everything?
What information are you seeking, then?
Firstly,
Well,
how do we-
obviously, since like you said, you guys have been wanting to recover that the money that's been embezzled. You're gonna tell me you never put any efforts on the group of guards or investigator into it?
We have, but we've turned out empty-handed, which is what led me to speculate that Daggold escaped with the gold to Neverwinter 3 years ago after he was ousted. I've learned literally yesterday that the gold was potentially still here in the city. So forgive me for being late in the game compared to you.
well, I do hope that once things roll over, assuming we do come to a decent conclusion to things, I do hope that we can at least maintain some connections and rapport here in the city.
And the Blackstaff does perk up. Are you interested in working to help protect the city?
Personally, it'd be a hell of a lot better than the other jobs I've done all over my shitty life.
Do you still have the badge I gave you?
Ragnar reaches into the pockets and shows it between his fingers.
Jobs can keep coming, and payment will keep arriving if the jobs are completed.
Max is just like mind blown, like, what the fuck, man? You know everyone, you got everything from everyone, what the fuck, man?
Playing all the angles.
So little bit of chaos, you might say.
And if you work hard enough, you could also have your status officially elevated from a Grey Hand to an official member of Force Grey.
Force Grey.
Force Grey. Are you not familiar with the Adventuring
well-
League of Force Grey?
DM, would I know?
Oh, for fun, give me a history check. 12. It's a name that you're familiar with, but the details escape Max, unfortunately.
I've heard about it, not much. You know, when you live in a slum.
Have you been living in the slum?
Yeah, but I got myself up pretty good.
You know, neither is fancily enough. I would never have guessed.
He works hard for his money.
I was gonna say something inappropriate about Max, but
I
it
know,
will
same
lose.
here. Same here. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
First
Max
thing that
has
came
a
to my
lot
head.
of stuff he wanted to say during the fucking discussions, but he kept himself to
Oh,
not be...
I would have been happy if you're perked up. It would have been interesting.
No, because the thing is, because he's pissed of being like in the castle, being close to the open lord. You know, like for him, he just wants to like break everything and destroy like the nobility and everything. So yeah, he's keeping pretty much to himself, not saying much.
Well, as a general reminder of the purpose of Force Grey, they're an elite cadre of specialized adventurers drawn from the ranks of Grey Hands, whose fighting prowess is matched only by their loyalty to the city. Force Grey attracts the best of characters, you know. Whenever there's particular problems in the city that can't be solved by the guard of the diplomats, typically speaking, Lady Laeral here asks me to employ members of Force Grey. I would say that accomplishing the incredible feat of returning the gold to the city itself should be, and she just starts putting the last few lines in her drafted contract, just puts it down. I would say that is sufficient enough grounds to have you invited into Force Grey.
I look at Ragnar and the others like,
Consistent work. And
Okay,
at least
so-
we're able to put a face with the name of one of our other benefactor is too kind of a word for him, but you know what I mean.
So, and she now basically hands the contract over to you, Max, who's like just still over her shoulder. You can show it to your companions.
I take it and bring it to the others.
So basically to TLDR it, honesty, information share in exchange, and also security for the stone, and in exchange support from the city and appropriate payment of 12% of what's in the vault. And you can see that the Blackstaff already signed it, and there's plenty of room for more signature.
Is this good enough for you guys?
That works for me.
Highest bidder.
Sure, it all beats the crap out of any of the other jobs that we've taken.
Hmm. Talk about friends in high places, right?
Well, Laeral also now starts speaking up. It wouldn't suit well the reputation of the city if you were treated with potential debt threats or no payment.
Indeed.
So, in the spirit of respecting the accomplishment that you've had so far, and considering that you seem to be willing to keep your heads into this, if I'm being frank, mess, I'm willing to offer you a chance and see where things go from there.
Very well.
Very cool. Right.
You're all in agreement?
Yep.
Well, then, if I can have your signatures, all of you?
I will sign.
Where's the quill?
The black staff hands over the quill as well, this little bottle of ink she had.
Regnus going to take them with Mage Hand.
You can see there's a little bit of an amusement on the two ladies' hands. Myth doesn't flinch much.
He's like, yeah, I've seen enough spellcasters do that in my lifetime.
Okay, so
Alright.
I guess the entirety of the group signs it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We'll say Scalpel signs it for narrative's sake, even though I would prefer to have Kiki's input.
Yeah. Sorry, Kiki, if you're listening.
I hope he listens. It'd be great if he's able to catch up before he resumes with us.
Considering his character, I think his character is probably the one who's most aligned with this decision.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm way in over my head for this. I wanted to be a good boy, not a herder hobo.
That's what I was thinking too, but at the same time, I never feel comfortable as DM controlling my players' characters during their absence.
Yeah.
Especially not for important decisions.
Unless that character's name's Clipper.
Let's face it, Clipper's more of a meme. And like an
Yeah.
extra body for the battlefield than anything else.
Yeah, very fragile body, but I digress.
Well, rogues. They have their ways. If only he wouldn't forget all the time evasive maneuvers.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually spoke to him about that today, and yeah, he totally forgot we had session yesterday. Or not yesterday, Friday.
Facepalm.
Yeah. I just assumed he was working. Anyways.
Well, usually he does.
Alright, so Ragna writes down.
Scalpel writes down, Gix and Max also.
Yep.
Yep.
And handing over the paper back to Laeral, she now takes the ink and quill and also puts down her own signature in it. Those of you with good enough sight will notice she has also very good penmanship.
As to be expected.
And then Mir takes it and signs it down, and his is pretty rough.
Also to be expected.
It belies a bit the like noble fancy attire he has. This guy is more on the gruff side.
Mm-hmm.
Very well.
He's had his own share of a bit of rough and tumble.
Oh yes, he did. He was literally in the mountain under the city with Durnham for like extended periods of time. Regardless, this is like out of character information that is not relevant to the campaign, just extra cool lore. Very well
Like-
then. So now we need to officially and formally proceed with the few next steps. I would like to formally ask you to participate with whatever the exact plan is that we will come up with this interim.
Of course.
But we have your noble patron to deal with and what's going to happen with them.
So first, the name.
Is everybody ready to like reveal the name? Just so I
Yep.
have like cohesion between the players.
Dramatic pause
Dramatic pause.
as Ragnar looks
Yep.
to the others.
Mm-hmm. I nod.
And you can see that all of them have a bit of a... All three of the people you're negotiating with have a bit of a stern face right now as they're waiting with bated breath to hear who has their hands in this particular game.
The nobles that first hired us are the Castellanters.
Yeah, they got cylinders.
And immediately you can see that there is a gigantic look of concern on all three of the nobles' face right now at the table. As they
Inside.
just look at each other. Give me an insight.
Like, is this the kind of name they didn't expect to pop up? 10, damn it.
Oh god.
Is Geek giving me an insight or you'll let it rest?
No, we're the rest.
You'll let it rest? Okay. So the three of them just look at each other in silence. And then Lady Laeral looks back at you, Ragna. That is going to be a much bigger problem than I anticipated.
What do you mean?
Even if all of the accusations you've raised against them are true, and they are indeed devil worshippers, ousting them out of the city will be near impossible.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
And she just starts massaging her eyes while you see that Maître is like rubbing his temple, and the black staff is like thinking very deeply right now.
Why is that?
They are arguably one of the most ancient families within the city and carry so much goodwill that even if accusations were to be levied at them, they'll hear about it before they're officially raised in public and find a way to just silence them. And then they'll garner whatever support they have of the different families they have connections with, just to make sure that everything goes their way.
Even if we were to fully expose them?
Before you get to expose them, they'll do something. If all of those accusations you're levying against them are again true. But at the same time, I have a hard time fathoming how come one of the richest and most powerful families within the city would resort to devil worshipping.
Well, the official reason that they gave us...
Yeah, we're
Is that
closing
so-
soon.
The official reason they gave us is that they were trying to save the lives of their children.
How would getting to the embezzled money of the city help them save the lives of their children?
The story they gave us was that they are under a curse from Asmodeus, and the big guy apparently demands a massive tribute of 1 million gold.
A ludicrously high sum, one that no single family would probably be able to afford themselves. That would explain why they're after the money. That complicates things.
And we even did a little casing on them. And supposedly they've had an, shall we say, an interesting turnover rate of staff over the last few years, as well as strange guests showing up that the staff are not allowed to engage with.
I mean, that is circumstantial at best and hardly any evidence.
Agreed. But tomorrow, what we have most importantly is an opportunity.
Wait, isn't tomorrow the fundraiser of the Castellanters?
Ragnar nods.
And you see there is an extremely sly smirk that starts raising on the face of Laeral.
I think you figured it out.
So you're going to stalk the place and sniff anything out that you can, is that it?
Well, yeah, in a nutshell.
What if they're innocent?
If it's innocent, we just lift the piece without a question before they have a chance to even notice. Then we carry on business as usual.
So you're going to lift, or basically steal, a piece of this particular stone out of good people.
With how things have progressed, it might be better for them and the safety if they are removed from the picture.
And should they be actually innocent, then I hope probably the city can actually help them. If in a way they're still helping for this, they're the ones who started it all, almost.
And you can see the gears are turning in her mind, in Laeral's mind. Like, she's clearly thinking through all of her options right now. Well, I'll say this. If they are innocent, don't steal anything from them. Simply because I
Not
cannot
even the
afford
stone.
having you on the wrong side of the law if you're working for us.
Right.
Understand that I'm willing to let transgression go where you want to investigate, as this will be official matters of the city. But if you cannot find any evidence that they are indeed devil worshippers, don't do any crimes. This will not rest well with any of us here.
And
If
if
I-
we do find that they're devil worshippers,
Accumulate proof. Come out with the part of the stone that they have. We'll discuss the rest.
If
But-
I may ask one more thing.
Yes?
So the one that tipped us off regarding their alleged devil worship, let's just say I'm taking it with a very heavy dose of salt. This rumor came from the mouth of the one posing as Msyk. And as far as I can tell, he didn't seem to be lying at the time. Would he have any knowledge about the matter?
Very delicate question. On one hand, can't say for sure if he should have any knowledge, but it's fair to guess that at the very least, if the castle hunters do indeed have a piece of the stone, that anyone interested in finding the gold would investigate the castle hunters.
And would it change things if Msyk is aware that they are holding a piece of the stone?
That's exactly where I was going with my line of thinking. If Msyk was aware, then there's two possibilities. Either he's aware of a secret that almost nobody else would know about the castle hunters, or he set you off on a path to double-cross your noble patrons. One of the two.
Yeah. And let's just say I've lost some sleep over this one, trying to figure out which it is myself.
Afraid I don't have the answer for you. And we do have the unresolved matter of our drow friends also. And I say friends with the utmost disrespect for the word.
Understandably.
You wouldn't have any idea where they're hiding in the docks?
We were hoping that you would have something about where Jay's whereabouts would be. Because, unfortunately, with what happened in the Xanathar's Guild, as Ragna now just kind of stares down at the table, thinking back, we stumbled into a part of their lair where their piece was. We came across a large nine-eyed monstrosity, and Jay came in and took the stone while we were the bait. I'll say I want to try to return the favor in kind in some way.
That would be very appropriate of you, but until we can figure out how come this secret leader of Luskan, who recently arrived in town, is just hiding, it will be hard to locate him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've only seen the drow in only one other location before. And coincidentally enough, it was the prior time that we had encountered Floxen.
And she just tilts her head on the side a little puzzled at the notion.
Let's just say one of our other scraps led to us encountering Floxen and the drow at the same time. And if I may ask, would we, for our cooperation, can we be granted amnesty for previous actions? As a theoretical.
It will heavily be considered, especially if it was actions related to this investigation of the embezzled money.
Well, let's just say we got into quite the melee over another stone piece and some information from another family that was involved. But they're out of the game now. Does the name Growlhuns ring a bell?
Yes. A poor shame they got had to be banished for their actions.
Yeah. The Drow were at their estate that night.
Obviously, they were trying to make their play for. Is this where you've acquired your own piece?
Our piece was acquired through other means.
So, out of character, quickly, I'm pretty sure the Stone of Galore is what you've got from the Growl.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought we got from Rhaenyra way back when, but
No.
frick. Notes.
You got the Stone of Galore. I'm
Oh,
willing to tell you. You got the Stone of Galore from the
yeah.
Growl.
Stone from the Growl Hunts. Okay. Yeah, I have it right here. I'm an idiot. Okay, right on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we got our piece.
I will heavily consider your suggestion for amnesty for this particular transgression, especially considering it led to the banishment of some corrupt individual, as well as the ability to get us back into this particular game. Well, if you find any information regarding your drows, please let me know.
Of course.
And with that, it is getting late. We have to adjourn this, unfortunately.
Now, is that in or out of character?
Both.
Both.
Yes.
Fair enough. Have a nice day.
So, taking all of your stuff, armed with some extra knowledge and interesting new developments of what's happening, you all take your bags. Oh, she would still demand also for the stone, which do you formally hand it over? Since it was part of the contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
hand it over.
you hand over the box containing the stone, takes a good
And-
look at it one more time, and assures you that they will do their utmost to keep it safe.
Ed Ragnar slyly says to Blackstaff, try not to stare at it too long.
She just gives you a side glance of like, you have quite the sense of humor, you know? Well, I guess the message she's implying from her glance. And the bulk of you essentially take your stuff. Scalpel with the giant chest of money also still in his backpack. And you are all starting to make your way out of Castle Waterdeep. Escorted by the guards back out in the streets, where you notice that quite a bit of time has passed with those negotiations, and it is now pretty deep into the night. And this is where we're ending today's session.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we've gone from waist deep in the freaking politics to now up to our necks in it.
I think we're in a much better spot, if you ask me.
Well, this is a fine pickle. Oh, death approaches.
How
Better
many
skedaddle.
pickles were you guys into? Like, enough to make Max moan.
I mean, that's not exactly a high bar.
Dude, I can just look at a starfish. I'm excited.